Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories like these. Now, let's get into today's story video. Ada for telling my mother she's not getting any more pregnancy updates because she can't keep things to herself. I'm a really private and introverted person, and I don't believe my single mother has complied with my wishes not to share any information about our pregnancy since I found out I was expecting a child. For the sake of my job, my health, and my personal privacy, I'd want to keep the rest of the world in the dark for a little longer. Although she has said that this is as much my child as it is yours, she has also stated that, whether you like it or not, we, my family, are also a part of this baby's journey. She has been implying that I am selfish for not enabling her to educate everyone on a regular basis. Despite the fact that we are just 20 minutes away, she has shown an interest in moving in with us in order to be closer to the child when it is born. We're thinking of moving a few towns away in order to get some solitude and space from her and her family. So far, she has exposed our pregnancy to at least 4 members of our family without our knowledge. Despite the fact that it is family, this may seem to be mild, yet it upset me much. We have a running argument with her every time we see her about how we are not allowing her to spread the news. As a result, I'm inclined to withhold pregnancy updates for the time being since I think my wishes are not being met. I just don't want to speak about it with her because I know there's a chance she'll dismiss it. This morning, my mother inquired about her presence when I learned the gender of my unborn child. I denied her request. According to COVID standards, only one person is authorized in the room at a time, and that person is obviously my fiancé, who also happens to be the child's biological father. Her irritation shone itself in her response, which was, "Well, I want to know right now." In response to my perceived lack of respect for my personal privacy desires or limits so far, I said, maybe in an unduly harsh tone, that I'm not telling you anything anymore since you can't keep things to yourself. "I'm sick of your attitude," she yelled, her voice filled with rage, and I mean screamed at the top of her lungs. "If you're not going to include us in this process, don't expect us to assist you after the child is born." When I got to my car, I said something to the effect of, "We have every right to keep the details of our pregnancy a secret." I got into my car and drove away. In addition, if this means losing your support, so be it. I didn't ask for it, and I certainly don't want it. I want to go because I'm fed up with your self-centeredness. And then I got in my car and drove away. She hasn't spoken to me since, but my sister has said that what I said upset and hurt her, and that she hasn't spoken to me since. Is it necessary for me to express my regret? Is it true that I'm the jerk? Is it possible that I was being overly critical? Story 2. Ada for moving out against my parents' wishes. I, a female 18-year-old, is leaving for a lot of different reasons. 1. I'm having a disagreement with my father. He satisfies the definition of a narcissistic personality. He obsesses over little issues, has total control over all aspects of my life, friends, relationships, screen time. We have no privacy, since we are always checking our phones, and he says really harsh things about me and our relationship. I try to speak about it with him and my mother, but nothing seems to make a difference. Religion comes in at number 2. My parents are ardent Christians who are quite conservative in their beliefs. They want their children to live in the same manner as they do, yet they often urge and encourage us to act in line with their religious views. Homophobia may be summed up in 3 terms. My parents were informed by a friend that I was a lesbian some years ago. They don't care about me. They screamed foul words at me and tortured me to a slew of programs in an effort to cure me from my condition. They found out I had a girlfriend at the start of this year, and they were furious. They were completely caught by surprise. Despite the fact that I'm 18 years old, they confiscated my phone and detained me in my house for many months. My clothing and hairdo are completely within my control. Everything I do is being monitored, and my siblings have been recruited to keep tabs on my whereabouts and activities. Because of my orientation, they are no longer providing financial assistance, and as a result, I am unable to continue my education. I'd be really content if I were to go. I'm emotionally exhausted, and my mental health has taken a huge knock on a number of different occasions. I tried my hardest to comply with their wishes, but I've fallen short on occasion, for example, by insisting on chopping my hair and lying about having a GF. In spite of the fact that I'm not able to see my girlfriend, we have continued to communicate with one another. She has graciously offered to allow me to live with her in her flat. It's on her parents' property, and they've agreed to provide financial assistance to me until I can get back on my feet. I had planned to tell my family the day before I went, but then I realized I'd be a jerk if I did. As a result, I alerted them. We were obviously encountering issues, and I explained the underlying rationale for doing so, as well as how it would most likely be beneficial to everyone in the long run. They were outraged at the time. They warned me I was being selfish and stupid, and that if I did this, I would obliterate the bridge that connects us. I refused to listen to them. My friends and family informed me that there was no need for me to leave and that I was acting erratically. As a result, my father believes that I have broken my mother's heart and caused irreparable damage to the family. They predicted that I would never be successful. Although they have indicated that they would not make any compromises, I should not leave. Moreover, they seem to be really hurt that I would want to leave at all, and they suspect that I must have made up a pathetic story about how they are awful jerks and that I lied about them, which I categorically refuted. I only told my girlfriend of the basic facts of the situation. When it comes to convincing me to remain, scare tactics and manipulation are used. I realize that moving out in this way is more sudden, but I've done all I can to be as prepared as possible, and my girlfriend's parents have given me their advice. I appreciate your understanding. They consider my parents to be jerks, and they want me to leave as soon as possible for my own safety and well-being. My parents' primary fear is that they will be unable to accept my decision to move in with my fiancé. Ada? Update. I'd since left the country. I followed the advice to not tell my parents what day I was going, and I told them I was still debating whether or not to go. After an evening of my father ranting at me about how I was taking over for him, I made preparations to flee the next morning while he was gone from the house. I frantically packed everything I had. After being pulled over, my father threatened to call the police on the mother of my girlfriend's boyfriend. When we arrived home, GF's father walked inside the house by himself to talk with him. To defend himself, my father even brought a friend, but he was defeated in the discussion, and I was forced to go. Since then, I've never looked back. I suffered from dissociation and flashbacks, but I'm on the mend now, thank goodness. I've sought help from a therapist. My therapist is amazing. My father is a narcissist, and I suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder (PTSD). But I've gone a long way since then. I keep my contact with him to a bare minimum and set strict boundaries for myself. In terms of physical and mental health, I'm in the best shape of my life. After a lengthy period of digging, I'm finally getting to the bottom of things. As a result of my girlfriend's parents taking me in, they have become the mother and father I never had. I've never felt more loved in my life than I do right now. I have a strong sense of family, as well as a great deal of independence. They are really accepting of you. During the intervening year, I've acquired a pet gecko, come out as non-binary, and am now preparing for my and my girlfriend's engagement with her parents. The ring has already been bought. Throughout this process, my partner has been very supportive, and she is the love of my life. She's now sitting next to me and was brought to tears after reading my last piece, which you can read here. The United States has reunited me with my grandparents and aunts, who are adamantly opposed to my father, and I'm traveling there to attend college and follow my ambitions. Thank you so much to everyone who took the time to react to my post. It was exactly what I was looking for, and I am really thankful to each and every one of you. My heart is brimming with gratitude. Edit. Many thanks for your support and remarks, which I appreciate very much. Sorry that I am unable to respond to everyone, but please know that I value everyone's comments. As for the clarification, I appreciate the advice not to rush my relationship, which I should have said. The news has made me overjoyed, and we're planning to be engaged soon. However, we won't be getting married until I'm through with college and financially comfortable. I want to make sure I'm completely prepared before taking that move.